I began this process of wanting to know what God was like. I never doubted the existence of God, but I certainly began to doubt everything that religion said about God. So in 1978, I began the process of looking at the world for fingerprints. I believe that if God existed, if a creator existed, then such a creator would have to leave fingerprints. And that by being diligent enough, I could find them. I could begin to chase down the real God. If the glory of God is intelligence, then I knew that by looking at things intelligently, I could get a hold on God. It had nothing to do with faith. It had to do with intellect, pure reasoning power. 1978, I completely dismissed everything I learned as a boy in the Southern Baptist Church. I began to dismiss everything the Mormon Church told me, because I now knew that the Mormon Church was just one big, overwhelming lie. But I still had this need to understand God. And I began looking at the world, and I came up with 4 very radical propositions. Staggering. I don't believe I would have been able to do that if I still held on to the religious teachings of my youth. They had to be sacrificed in order to come to the truth. I began my search by looking at the natural world. You know, all the things that happen in the natural world. For instance, you know, back in 2006, Christmas Day in Southeast Asia, a tsunami in one day killed 217,000 human beings. Staggering number. We watched it on the news. We watched it on TV. People swept out to sea. You know, we watched a rogue wave go through villages and towns and just wipe them off the face of the earth. You know, that tsunami did not care if you were young or old, good or bad, male or female. If it got in your way, you were dead. Voltaire was so shocked by the destructive power of an earthquake and a tsunami that hit Lisbon, Portugal, in the latter part of the 18th century, that he wrote a book called Candide. How could a benevolent God and Creator allow such things to happen to humanity, to humans? You look at the natural disasters that take place, and you're left with one startling truth. If God created this world, then God is morally responsible for all the tragedy that happens as a result of natural forces going amok. I'll give you a good for instance. If you own a dog that is vicious, you know it's vicious, and you take no care to restrain it, and it gets out of your yard and attacks children and kills one of them, what do you think the law will do? I will tell you what the law will do. The law will hold someone responsible. And they hold the person who has control responsible. They're going to come knocking on your door, and they will place you under arrest, and they will charge you with manslaughter because you could have restrained that dog. You could have exercised control, but instead you showed criminal negligence, and a child died. you're going to go to prison. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If God made this world, then at least God would be guilty of criminal negligence by any standard that we as humans understand. Well, I thought about that for a long time. How could God create a world in which natural forces can so easily destroy humans? Earthquakes, volcanoes, typhoons, hurricanes. I mean, all these things that happen over which humans have no control. Floods, disease. And then it dawned on me. The first radical proposition. It hit me like a thunderbolt.